Hey, everybody. This is the Cynical Revolution. Thanks for listening. Just a short show today, just 15 minutes. So I really had time for it. My Monday and Tuesdays are kind of crazy, so we're going to see how this works on Mondays and Tuesdays. But let's just get right into it. Jason Chaffetz, I assume that's how you pronounce it. He's, of course, a representative from Utah, Republican, and one of his biggest donors are the public sector unions, from which he received about $26,500, and as you can imagine, conservatives weren't too happy about this. They called him out on it, and he was asked about it by conservative members of the media, and he said, quote, not really that much money, end quote. And to prove it, he's been on a plan he's been for a plan, he put a plan on the floor. It would make states balance their budgets or go bankrupt. I mean, this sounds like, a decent idea, and say, okay, balance your budget, states. But what this would do, if a state actually went bankrupt, it would destroy all the public sector unions. So this just leads to one simple question. Have unions been duped? How is it that when a corporation donates money to a candidate, like I've talked about, when GE or ExxonMobil donates to a candidate, they never get crossed? I mean, how many times has an oil company donated to a politician? And how many times has that politician went and helped the oil company? And then how many times did he cross the oil company's done? Why were we drilling offshore? Because, when the BP disaster happened offshore. Why were we even doing that? Because oil companies were paying both Republicans and Democrats for that policy. But every time politicians, they're willing to throw unions under the bus, when unions are their biggest donors even. So, see a double standard here. We talk about our system being broken because of the corporations, but it's not broken because of unions, because we see a candidate where unions decided to donate $26,500 to, and he basically says, not enough money, I'll still destroy you. So, but perhaps to Jason Chaffetz, $26,500 is not that much. Perhaps he isn't just currying to his base when he says that. It just drives me nuts. I'm just appalled that a union would support a Republican. I mean, it's bad enough that they support Democrats and think that Democrats are somehow going to help unions. Then they turn around and support Republicans? That makes no sense. Republicans and the people on the right in this country are on the farther right than the Democrats. Hate unions. They hate the idea of unions. We have Governor Chris Christie or whatever from New Jersey, trying to tear apart the teacher union. We got to balance our budget, so I'm going to go after teachers. And my dad, just on a personal note, my dad's a postal worker, so some of this check gets taken out to pay the union for the postal workers, which is a public service union, like the one that Jason Chaffetz is willing to just throw under the bus, even though they gave him $26,500. And my dad hates this. He hates the union. He hates giving money to the union. And no wonder he hates it when it's going to fools like Chaffetz. I never fully understood why my dad hated his union so much. Because I always thought, union's good. You should like your union. And they're trying to give you better wages. They're trying to help you out. But now I do. Self-destructive. The union is self-destructing on the workers. It's not even a union in the truest sense, because the post office worker union or whatever has like a leadership and a guy that runs it, a couple guys that run it, which it's not a collection of workers like a union should be. What the definition of a union is that the workers get together and ask for certain rights and privileges and et cetera. But that's not even what this quote-unquote union is. It's a collection of lobbyists, and evidently pretty crappy lobbyists. I guess they're the ones that couldn't get jobs lobbying for major corporations. The whole idea of unions, as I just said, is the idea that it's a bunch of people running it. The whole idea of there being a leadership and headquarters in unions is so contradictory to the whole idea, because the union is supposed to be against leadership, against the concentration of power, and that's why they're asking for certain rights and et cetera. But it's not what's happening here. That the union leadership is saying,
if this were a dictatorship, it'd be a heck of a lot easier. Just so long as I'm the dictator.
As King George would say. The only leadership that should be, instead of being a dictatorship, should be democratically elected by all the postal service workers. That's just not. Don't get together and vote on a guy just to represent them, not to lead them, not to tell them what to do, whatever. Just kind of be the PR guy. But that's just not how it works. But, I mean, let's go back to this lobbying thing. My opinion on how corporate lobbying has destroyed our democratic system to the point where it can't be called a democracy. It's pretty clear. Just listen to any other shows and I basically mention this fact. For instance, we just go back to Chaffetz. The other big donors he has are the big banks. So where do you think he stands on bank regulations? Just take a guess. If he's getting money from the big bank, where does he stand on bank regulation? Well, if he treats them like the union, he's all for all these bank regulations. But he's not. He throws the unions under the bus, never crosses the bank. Is he going to go against the people who are paying him? No, at least not in this case. He's not going to bite the hand that feeds him. Hey, frankly, who's paying him for it? You can say, gosh, they're giving you money and you're doing what they say. You're a terrible person. You can't call him a terrible person. It's a problem in our system. It's not necessarily the people. It's a problem in our system. On the other hand, unions also contribute and lobby monies in the states, as we see in Chaffetz's case. More successful. Dennis Kucinich, the House Democrat, probably the most, outside of maybe Bernie Sanders, the most liberal guy in our government, but the progressive in our government, the one or two that actually represent the people, that is actually really center-left, many. All five of his major donors are unions. They're all unions, all five of them, different kind of unions. According to Common Cause, a website, in the 2008 election cycle, unions and corporations combined to donate $6 billion nationwide, which, if we spread this out, this would be nearly $1 a person worldwide. We give everyone $1 instead of lobbying all that money. However, corporations make up over $5 billion of that amount, so $6 billion if you count corporations and unions, but you separate them out. Over $5 billion is corporations, and unions make up less than $1 billion. So, while it's a talking point in our media, you hear it all the time, especially in, like Fox News Channel and more right-leaning media outlets, is that unions are taking over the government and they're lobbying so much, and Congress people are are working for the unions, and unions are destroying America. But they donate less than a fifth than the corporations, but you don't hear in the media, even really you rarely hear it on the so-called left media in the mainstream, like MSNBC, like Cenk Uygur talk about it, and Rachel Maddow will talk a little bit about it, but that's about it. There's not much more. So what unions donate pales in comparison to corporate interests, which shows in policy. If you actually looked at policy, our current government has been for the past at least 30 years, has been anti-union, pro-big businesses. As we've seen, the rich have gotten richer, and the middle class has basically stayed the same. What makes a union different than a corporation is that a union, at least a good one, democratically controlled, unlike corporations. Like, if you work for a corporation, you get a vote. A dictatorship, or at least an oligarchy. A few people make all the decisions, and you're left out to dry. And it's all about the bottom line. Legally, it has to be all about the bottom line. They have to work in the best short-term interests of their shareholders, or they're breaking the law. That's what's wrong with our system. So it's not even. We can't equivocate. Can't say, both corporations and unions are donating. Let's just call it even. We can't do that. We have to stand up to the unions, and stand against corporations. I'm running out of time. ACLU had a good post. Patriot Act will be voted on tomorrow. I haven't heard it really from any other media outlet. It's funny. So the ACLU is pointing it out. The Patriot Act will be voted on. It's being voted on really quickly. They're not allowing changes to it, so it's just going to get renewed. It looks like it'll pass. We'll see, but it's going to be voted on tomorrow. See how that goes. So I'm about out of time. Thanks for listening to the Cynical Revolution. Do you want to plug in the Twitter? Twitter.com/Cynical Revolt. Go to Facebook. Then search the Cynical Revolution. Join the page. Go to the YouTube page. If you're listening live, it's youtube.com/Cynical Revolt. And the channel is called Cynical Revolt. If you're listening on YouTube, to listen to the show live, want to do it live, or to listen to shows in their entirety, go to blogtalkradio.com/Cynical Revolt. Also, addictinginfo.org publishes what I write. And thanks to them, go to their website, check out their articles, look for mine. Thanks, guys, for listening.